learn how to win somewhere and then go out and win where she can see you. And that's how you transcend your looks.
The thing that my clients would be most interested in is the good guy, bad guy traits. What
Yes.
I refer to is things that create attraction versus things that create comfort. And you say
Hmm.
good guy traits and bad guy traits. Whenever I have a client who very clearly does not give himself permission, it generally comes from a very structured household where they were told to be quiet,
Yeah.
told to not be expressive. Very much family tried to arrange a marriage, wanted them to marry someone in their same demographic, socioeconomic demographic. This is someone who's an immigrant from, say, India or South Korea or someplace like that, wanting their children to date like. And in those situations, when I meet men that come out of those situations, they're very afraid to express themselves. They're afraid to give themselves permission in certain incidents. And so I show them videos of like Wes Watson, like a dude who's, he went to jail 10 years for attempted murder, and just the dude just screams and he gives himself total permission. And then I'm like, I don't want you to become Wes Watson, but I do want you to understand that like this is what total permission looks like, and you can't do this. And then I ask them, slap the table and say, let's fucking go. And it's like, let's fucking go. And they think in their
Yeah.
mind they're being expressive, but they don't understand how the world has sort of like, or their upbringing has clamped them down, and I need to get
Yeah.
them to grasp some of these more bad boy characteristics, or what I
Yeah.
call attraction triggers. And I was wondering if you could go over those down at the bottom of your chart there.
Yeah, sure. So I just split it up into two basic categories. I split it up into looks, which is just your body. Some things you can control and some things you cannot. You cannot work out until you're taller. But as long as you're in the best shape you possibly can be, and you have a haircut and a facial hair that fits you, and women like it, and your hygiene is good, and blah, 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 blah. As long as you have your body in maximum shape, you've maxed out how physically attractive you are. And then masculinity, which I split up into, there's a bunch of different things under here. I kind of rushed to get zones out, so I don't this is not exact, but I believe that you can split masculinity up into power and confidence. So that's your ability to do things, and then also your certainty about your ability to do things. I think women find those sexy independently of looks. Like, even if you're not a very attractive guy, if you are super powerful and you're really cocky about it and you're never wrong too. Like, you can't be confident and wrong, because then women will say, well, you're just full of it.
Mm.
Um, if you are really confident, you go, don't worry about it, I got this. Like, that's why dark triad traits are under here, because that's kind of narcissistic self assurance, that cockiness. And dark triad being narcissism, psychopathy, and
Machiavellian.
Machiavellianism. Yeah, so those three traits are signifiers that you have abilities, you know how to use them, you know when they work, and you're not afraid to use them when it's time. So being able to go into psycho mode has been has worked really well for me with women. There have been times where I have almost lost my cool a little, and women go, wow, I never see guys actually threaten to use force. I've never seen that. They're always so nice, and they go, oh, let's come to an understanding," and they say that's unattractive. And when I demonstrate to them that I'm willing to suspend empathy from someone who's threatening me, they say they like that. So power and the confidence that you're correct in the use of your power is what I would separate
Yes.
masculinity into. Yeah, and if you want to separate that even further, it would be social status and certain kinds of social status. Because up here in presentability, you would have, this would be Mr. Rogers, and this would be Tony Montana,
Yes.
Scarface. So there's different kinds of social, climbing that you can do. You can have nice guy social climbing and bad boy social climbing. And so, in order to be attractive to women, you have to be able to make people do what you want. You have to be able to get money. You have to be able to do physical things with your muscles. If you go axe throwing,
Mm.
and she beats you axe throwing, she's going to go ick. You
Ick.
need to
Yeah.
beat her. You need to beat her. So
Win a
these are
competition.
basically, yeah. You need to be able to beat her. You need to be able to beat other men. There's this famous clip of some woman talking to Joe Rogan about her boyfriend who was a fighter, and he got punched in the face, and he did the fencing response, which is when your arms go out like that, because he got his brain rocked, and his arms automatically got stiff like that, and she mistook it for him protecting his face like a wimp, and she just said that was a big turnoff, and I didn't wasn't attracted to him anymore. because he wasn't expressing dominance. She said you should go down swinging, and even if you're losing, give him the middle finger while you're losing.
Yeah.
So even getting hit in the brain and your body involuntarily moving can give women the ick.
The ick because it's not masculine
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Because it didn't appear masculine enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting affected by the environment, getting beat up. So like you gotta learn how to win somewhere and then go out and win where she can see you. And that's how you transcend your looks. There's too many guys who they think that they're dead in the water because they're short. And it's like, you're a good looking, intelligent guy and you're 5'6". Go play guitar. Go do something impressive in front of women. And the ones who don't care that you're short will show right up. That's one of the things that I want men to learn, because there's a huge percentage of men in the Western world who are all focusing on this stuff. Let me be nice and buy you flowers and be good to you, and then you'll be sexually attracted to me. And that's not what makes that happen.
Yeah. So it's
all being dominant. Yeah.
So the concept on the stuff on the bottom part of the scale, those are the things that are the bad boy things. The things on the right side of the scale, those are the things that are the good guy things. And you mentioned before, and I love this concept. Sadia Khan, she made a video similar to this where she said women do not hate nice guys or good guys. What they do is they hate nice guys that don't have boundaries. So the concept of I am nice to you because your boobies are big. I'm being nice to you. I'm doing these things, and she can clearly tell this man is overly nice to me, but he's investing in me, but he's doing so just because I'm physically attractive, and because of that, his intent and attractiveness or attractedness is cheap. It doesn't cost anything. I didn't have to work for it. The guy at the bottom cares less, and the woman has to do more to get attention from him. Therefore, his intent is worth more. It is of a higher value. And what she said is what women really want is a guy who does both. He can be nice, but he still maintains those boundaries. And then that's when you called it Prince Charming.
Yes. Yeah. That's the ideal thing that I think men should be. I don't know whether or not Prince Charming or Bad Boy is the best strategy for propagating your genes, but I do know that for the long-term survival of humanity, every man trying to get here for the woman of his choice is the ideal. Like this is how life gets better for everyone. When every man has a woman here and every woman has a man here, and he knows how to do that. It's of course much easier for women to get here. Just be, good looking enough for him and treat him well, and he'll love you most of the time. There's some guys who obviously have, high standards and cheat all the time. But for women, it's just, like we went over before, you're constantly riding this line of like, you're being too nice to me, so I'm bored. And now you're not being nice enough to me, so you must be cheating. And you have to, it's been very difficult to walk this line.
It is.
It's not for the faint of heart. And I think most men are just fundamentally not capable of it, which is why we used to have social trends, or whatever you call them, social policies of making people get together. We had really strictly
monogamy.
Yes, we had strictly enforced marriage, and we would say our families are going to get together and go, hey, your daughter looks like she's about right for my son. Let's see if they like each other. And then you introduce them and they become familiar, and she goes, yeah, he's not so bad. Which is something I've heard women report quite a bit, that they'll go out with a guy who is nice and she doesn't like him, but she kind of forces herself to go on 3 or 4 dates and goes like, you know what? Not that bad.
Yes.